Tonight on Cana and Mike's movie night, it's going to be Mr. Magorium's Wonder Emporium. What in the world are you doing?
The common writers are trying to kill my Godzilla figures again, and Bernie Godzilla's trying to get out of the package to help, so I'm gonna go.
They're just toys! Cana!
And this week, Cana has decided we were going to watch something, folks. She said it. It was going to be something.
Really? Are you going to keep... Shush. Stop picking on me. After the nightmare that you had me go through watching that supposed classic... Nightmare.
It's not a nightmare.
It was horrible. It was horrible.
What are we watching?
We watched Mr. Magorium's Wonder Emporium. Yes, I'm picking kids' movies. Bite me if you don't like it.
So this week we did watch Mr. Magorium's Wonder Emporium, starring Rain Man and Princess Amidala.
It was Queen Amidala.
Well, she was princess, queen,
no, she was
senator, whatever.
She was never listed as princess.
Amidala. Anyway, Dustin Hoffman and Natalie Portman.
There we go.
So it's where the toys come to life. So
it's awesome.
Well, tell them about it.
Okay. So, Mr. Magorium's Wonder Emporium is exactly what it sounds like. It's a giant toy store, which I'm pretty sure my husband is an avid toy collector.
Well, anyone that sees Denzicaster sees all that crap in the background.
I thought would appreciate this movie. For me personally, I love this movie, and I got this movie to help a friend's child get through the touchy subject of death. Because it does have to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
It does it though in a beautiful way of showing that it's not something to it's okay that it makes you sad, but it's not something that should scare you. But pretty much it's Mr. Magorium is 235?
He's a Time Lord.
He's not a Time Lord. Anyways, he's finally reached that point where he's used his last pair of shoes because he bought enough shoes to last him through his entire life. And his last pair of shoes have finally bit the big one. And it is time for him to move on to that happy place in the universe. And everyone going through understanding the changes that are going to happen for the toy store. It's pretty much what it comes down to.
And it's Natalie Portman coming to grips with losing her mentor and being put in the position of basically succeeding him and carrying on his work and his legacy with the store.
But also, for her character's Molly Mahoney. She's called Mahoney pretty much the majority of the time.
Right.
Is realizing that expectations laid upon you as a child and as an adult are not necessarily expectations that you have to fulfill to reach your great potential.
And then you have Jason Bateman, who is essentially the representative of the real world in the movie, and showing you that the real world, with a lack of imagination and fun, is frankly a terrible place. So
it goes to show you that growing up does not necessarily mean that you have to lose that childlike spirit. While Jason Bateman's character, who is I can't remember his actual character's name, but he's pretty much called the mutant the entire movie.
Yeah,
that's my favorite part. I don't even really remember his name. It's mutant because, of course, an accountant is a counting mutant. I don't know. It was funny. So how dreary his life is, and the use... he always uses the words just. It's just a bookstore, or it's just a toy store. And just kind of like how we accept it's just. It's not more. There's no potential. There's no expectation of more.
Right. I'm checking to see when the movie came out because it looks like this is actually a fairly new movie.
It was pre-2010.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's...
Well, no, I mean that...
It's less than 10 years old,
yeah.
I think. 2007.
It's 10 years
right
old.
At 10 years old. It clocks in at about, 90 minutes? Yeah, about 94 minutes.
It's a little over 90 minutes.
Visually, because I always start with the visuals with these things, the eyes capture everything first in one of these things. It's a visual medium. It is a incredibly beautiful movie. I think they do a wonderful job with the set designs. I think the wardrobe is gorgeous. You really do get a timelessness out of Dustin Hoffman's character, out of Mr. Magorium. The idea of he has a ton of shoes. He just found a pair of shoes he liked, and he bought enough to last the rest of his life. I thought that was actually a really interesting concept to put out there, and it was a really interesting way for them to basically say, this is how I know I'm about to die, kind of deal.
And it's so inconsequential, because most of the time when we speak about death, and I know we're this episode might seem a little bit morbid because we use the word death. Suck it up, Buttercup. It's okay. Death is generally always precipitated with cancer, car accident, heart stopped. You know, very.
In this case, it's because he ran out of shoes.
It's because he ran out of shoes. But they approach it as everybody has to go. In
this case, him running out of shoes is the equivalent of old age. It's his time. He knows it's his time because he's run out of shoes. Like I said, the visuals of the movie are gorgeous. At one point in the movie, the store itself goes into mourning. The store is this magical place. In a lot of ways, this is the toy store equivalent of Willy Wonka.
Oh, that's a good comparison, yeah.
So, I mean, that is really something to stop and think about. And if you think about it that way, Dustin Hoffman in this movie is a worthy heir to Gene Wilder. Mm-hmm. But it is the store itself is sentient.
Yeah.
And the store goes into mourning. And when it goes into mourning, this bright, colorful, vibrant, beautiful place
full of rainbows and starlight and moving planets and fish
turns into this complete drab, monochrome nothing.
Black and white.
And it's black and white and gray, and it has died alongside its master, so to speak. And when it comes back to life, and you see the color restored to it when Mahoney accepts her place as the new master of the Emporium, so to speak, the new manager, owner, what have you, then you really do get the sense that you are watching a rebirth of something. You are watching... Cana sold this movie to me in watching it, which you can find this movie, even on Blu-ray, dirt cheap. We found this at a Dollar General for $3.
Yeah. But it's so worth it.
She sold this movie to me on the principle of it is a wonderful way to teach children about mortality. And the idea, depending on your faith, that death is not necessarily the end. And you didn't describe it to me as such, but the example of that is not Mr. Magorium himself. The metaphor for that, in my opinion, is the store. Because you watch the store die, and then you watch the store reborn when it has its second life. Its life continues with Mahoney. So you actually watch the store die. It's dead with Magorium. When Magorium goes, it goes. But then here is your next life. The story continues, the adventure continues, and you have that as one metaphor. You have the more obvious metaphor, the more obvious message of when someone you love or someone you care about passes, that's not the end for you.
Right.
Life will go on, and there will be more laughs, and there will be more fun, and no, they're not there, but what they contribute
will still
live on. So there's a lot of positive messages. The story itself is simply that. This is a 90-minute movie. If you're looking for the traditional feature film, there are no villains. There are no bad guys. There is no adventure beyond the last adventure of Mr. Magorium. He's facing his death. There is that, and it's how he deals with it, and it's how those around him will deal with it afterwards. That's the story of the movie. So if you're looking for the traditional hero's journey, please look elsewhere. If you're looking for a really good story that is about the people involved, then this is it. And it traps it in this wonderful, colorful candy coating that is the toy store. And the fantasy that goes around it. This may surprise you. I basically have nothing bad to say about this movie. And I just saw your eyes widen up.
I love what I picked a movie that you had nothing bad to say about it.
No. I mean, it has Jason Bateman in it, but even I can't even complain about that because he did a good job.
Yeah. I mean, he was pretty much the straight man.
The kid's hats got annoying after a while, but that's about it.
But
that was part of his character. That was his thing was he collected hats, and he has a different hat every day. And you almost get the vibe with him. I could see that if someone were to do this movie again, years from now, it could be that kid rather than Dustin Hoffman. And instead of being a pair of shoes, he could sit there and go, "It's my time. I've run out of hats."
Yeah.
So, yeah. But like I said, it is a wonderful story with 3 characters, really 4.
There's 4 because you count.
If you count the store itself.
5 then. Count the kid.
Well, I count the kid with Bateman, but I'll explain that in a second. You have Bateman and the kid to me are one character. No, seriously. Okay. But I can explain. You have Mr. Magorium and how he is dealing with his imminent departure. You have the store and how it goes into mourning. You have and how it's going to be reborn. You have Molly, who everyone has these expectations, and she learns you don't have to deal with those expectations. You can change them. It's what you expect of yourself, not what anyone else expects of you. And you have Jason Bateman, who through the kid realizes that there's more to being an adult than simply being an adult. So, it's the kid that teaches. It's the kid that teaches him. This is the childlike sense of play. These are the things that you have to keep, because otherwise you will be a miserable human being.
Yeah.
So, and the music wasn't bad either. It's not the high point of the movie, but it doesn't detract. So.
No, but it kind of is the ongoing thing, because Mahoney was a musical prodigy on the piano. I mean, she could play anything, and she's been working on her first concerto now since she was knee-high to a grasshopper. And you constantly see her throughout the movie. She keeps twiddling her fingers and writing the concerto, trying to finish this concerto, because everyone's been expecting it of her. So you kind of always hear this concerto expecting it to be completed, and it's partial. It's never complete. You get little bits here, little bits there, but eventually you get it at the end. You get the whole thing.
And it comes with the rebirth of the Emporium. Because that's when she realizes that what's been missing from her music, fun. Because you see her start to have fun, and she is conducting the rebirth of the Emporium, and that's where she completes her song.
Right. So. I also like the Congreve cube.
Okay.
It's a block of wood.
Yeah.
They go, I'm going to give you this gift. Mr. Magorium goes, I'm going to give you this gift, Mahoney. It's a Congreve cube. I think that's what I'm calling it.
Yeah, I believe that's what it's called in the movie.
Yeah. And she's like, wow, it's a block of wood. I was just saying this morning I needed another block of wood. You know.
So was she. So I guess I will give my closing thoughts on this one.
Okay.
Long and short, Dustin Hoffman is an incredible actor, so you know what you're getting when you have him in something like this, and he excels at being offbeat, eccentric, strange characters. He has tremendous range. I mean,
yeah.
This is the guy that was Rain Man and then was Captain Hook, and
wasn't he Rudy?
Don't remember if he was. Oh, that's Tootsie.
Tootsie, there we go.
Tootsie.
I don't know where I got Rudy.
Rudy's the kid from Notre Dame.
There we go.
So, you know, he has just this incredible range as an actor, where he can go from being the patently ridiculous to the intensely dramatic at the drop of a hat. Natalie Portman is a better actress than I think a whole lot of people give her credit for. She was one of the bright, shining parts of the Star Wars prequel trilogy, which didn't have a whole lot of bright, shining parts, but she was one of them. You have Jason Bateman, who I rag on a little bit earlier, but it's because I hated him on television. You have Jason Bateman, who is probably one of the most solid supporting actors in Hollywood today. Because the other role that I remember immediately from him is he's in Hancock, starring Will Smith.
Oh yeah, I totally forget he's in that every time.
He is that really good supporting character actor that you always forget is in a movie. But it's because he is part of the movie as a whole so much that you almost forget that it's him. The little kid in here, who I don't know who the heck plays him, the little kid is tremendous. The set design, the timeless feel of the Emporium itself, which is echoed in the wardrobe choices for Hoffman in this movie. There's, like I said, I quite literally have nothing bad I can say about this movie. If there's a critique, maybe the soundtrack, the score itself could have been stronger, because much like I said with the Miyazaki film we did a couple of weeks ago, Howl's Moving Castle, music to me is bad, good, or great, and this falls into the place of being good. I didn't realize the soundtrack was there for most of the movie, which means it didn't detract. It added, it kept pace with the film. The one place where the music became integral and became, to me, truly adds to the movie is the end with Mahoney and the Emporium coming back to life.
Yeah.
So, but all in all, cell phone down. I actually sat through and enjoyed the heck out of this one.
Yes. And of course, for me, it was a cell phone down. I love this movie. Since we're adopting, I'd been telling him we had to get this because eventually we're going to have to teach our kids about death.
Yeah.
And I can't think of a better movie to really help start the explanation. You'll still have to go into an in-depth talk eventually, but as an introduction to the subject, I think it's a great one.
So, with that said, this one got 2 cell phones down.
I think that's the first ever.
No, we've had a couple of 2 cell phone downs. Yeah.
It's just been a while.
It has been a while since we both gave a cell phone down to a movie.
What was the one that what were the ones that we actually did?
Oh, goodness gracious. I would actually have to go back and look at the list of episodes, to be perfectly honest. I don't have a list of these
It
things.
doesn't happen often.
No, it
so,
really
you know, 2 cell phones down, definitely need to check it out.
Yes. So, you know, since we're dealing with movies that talk about, you know, and teach about death, I picked my own for next week. So next week, folks, here on Cana and Mike's Movie Night, we're going to be checking out the 1930s movie Dracula. No, we're not.
Deadpool! Deadpool!
Next week, we are checking out Deadpool here on Cana
Still
and Mike's
about
Movie.
death.
But less so. It's less about experiencing death and more about inflicting it. But
Potato.
but no, we're gonna check out Deadpool next week here, starring Ryan Reynolds. Check that out with us. Do please, folks, check out all of our social media. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. You can check us out there at ECS Podcast and at ECS Network. You'll see which one's which after the flip. And please go to cafepress.com/ECS Network and check out our Cafe Press store. You can find your Cana and Mike's Movie Night shirts and stuff for all the other great shows here on the network, which proceeds go to help fund things on the network. So please do.
Cameras, stands, and sound equipment.
Yes. Matter of fact, as we've said a few times before, the new camera rig we're using here, the new actual tripod and set, is from you guys. So please do go over there and help us out there. We would greatly appreciate it. So, until next time, folks, when we take a trip into the X-Men cinematic universe, since it's not actually part of the MCU, Disney doesn't have their hands on that one yet. I'm Mike.
And I'm Cana.
And we'll see you next week on Cana and Mike's Movie Night. Or is it Mike and Movies Cana Night?